Hi everyone, we are going to talk about soil degradation, an issue which causes global social, political, economical, and thus justice problems worldwide. Throughout the presentation, we will briefly talk about what is soil degradation, its social political impacts, its economic impacts, and some solutions. Soil degradation is classified in 4 different types: wind erosion, water erosion, physical deterioration, chemical degradation. Water erosion and wind erosion may be considered to be due to natural factors, however these are often made worse by human activity. Chemical deterioration is a degradation of the soil's chemical component. This decreases health of the soil, removes nutrients, which reduces its capacity to support plant growth and crop production. Physical degradation is a degradation caused by soil crushing, seeding, and compaction. The graph represents the estimate of the global extent of land degradation. We can see that worldwide, more than 50% of the land is degraded. Some of the main causes of soil degradation can be natural hazards, human population increase in agriculture, which is also augmenting with our standard of living and our population. Soil degradation has many consequences. Listing arguably only some of the most important ones are loss of soil nutrients, increased runoff, loss of arable land, which have dire effects on the ecosystem and human population.
There are 3 main socio-political issues caused by the increasing degradation of the world's soils: environmental migrations, civil wars, and food riots. Soil degradation is a threat to more than 500 million people in sub-Saharan countries where a majority live off the land. Worldwide, 1.5 billion people live on already degrading land. 74% of these people are poor, which means that they cannot get themselves out of these situations and are thus forced to migrate. Social instability caused by desertification has larger implications still. Many people are becoming radicalized and turn to violence in resource-driven wars. Already the situation has turned so grim in countries like Darfur, Mali, Chad, and Afghanistan that fights over resources have already turned into civil war. According to the UNCCD, in 2008, food insecurity triggered riots in over 30 countries. With increasing soil degradation every year, more than 2 billion people who depend on small farmers for subsistence are threatened. With every passing day, more people are threatened by food insecurity caused by increasing soil degradation.
Land degradation and its economic impacts affects us all. The individuals who are more affected are the ones living in poverty-stricken rural areas in developing nations. They rely on the land for their main food source and their livelihood. However, the increasing pressures of population growth and the demand for more ecosystem services increases the price of goods. According to the USDA, on a global scale, the annual loss of 75 billion tons of soil costs the world about $400 billion per year, or approximately $70 per person. As the global population increases, the economy fluctuates and the interdependency of food, water, energy, and especially the use of land becomes more apparent. In order to make change, it will require financial resources. With collaboration, strong incentives, proper land management, and action plans, researchers are adamant that the inactive response to land degradation is far more costly than it is to take action and find alternatives and solutions to this grave problem that we are facing.
The UN Convention on Desertification was the first international initiative to outline the issues at hand and provide a framework for tackling desertification. Unfortunately, despite successive global initiatives and conventions, no concrete plan has been put in place. Soil degradation is tackled in 2 main ways: education and soil restoration. In developing countries that lack the money to implement expensive soil restoration projects, education has proved to be the most cost-effective method. Teaching farmers techniques such as managed grazing and farming helps keep their land from becoming arid. Soil restoration is the most effective means for combating desertification. The introduction of nutrients to farmland topsoil and in other areas, reforestation are used to promote biodiversity. As with all global issues, individual action is valuable and important. Composting food waste and eating less meat are a good start. For example, in North America alone, 70% of farmland is used to feed and raise animals for food. Soil degradation is an international issue that we are only beginning to feel the effects of here in Canada. It continues to threaten the livelihood of millions of people in other parts of the world who depend on the land for their economy. With more and more of our food coming from around the globe, the food security of everyone is in question.
Created using Powtoon.